Welcome to a basic introduction to stepping into your unique financial individuality and establishing a new income identity. And this is a mini masterclass training, and it's going to be more so in a mini info style training. And I am Majesty AliNICOLE WOW, and I am looking forward to bringing this mini masterclass info training to you today. Please make sure that you have note-taking materials so that you can jot down some of the wisdom and insight that I'm going to be sharing around this particular focus. So this is a very, very important topic to be addressing. And one of the reasons why is because we are in a new world of finances and economics and the progression of profitability. There's so much that's emerging. And people have real concerns around their financial future, but even more so their financial now and what all that means and how it's going to play a huge part in how they not just survive, but start to thrive as a new world is continuing to emerge. So over the years, we've heard a lot of talk about end times and mark of the beast and one world order currency models that will be coming in. And those are different trajectory possibilities that can set themselves up that if people don't align with what's progressing in terms of the higher financial cause, then most will fall into that trajectory, so to speak, and get caught up in those types of dynamics. And within those types of dynamics is definitely undescribable force, inexplainable in a sense. You can't really explain it. It is a force that definitely comes in to oppose the forward expansion of financial individuality, which that's where the new era of a new economics world is really pushing forward for the uniqueness of customized currency models that really come from within a person's unique DNA and financial anatomy. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that during this mini info training masterclass, so to speak. So back to what this force, in a sense, sort of represents. Again, opposing the forward progression of unique individuality. And that's why there's a system in place that is designed to bring everyone into a one world order as it relates to currency. And that's still very much about a controlling economic system and forcing individuals to be under a certain way of being with limitations on how they can make their impact and income, right? So you don't want to get caught in that trap. Now, something that I teach in financial metamorphosis is the breaking down of the old so that a new identity can emerge. When you think about a caterpillar and it is evolving into a butterfly, most people teach it on the transformational level, it's transforming, but in this case, it's really evolutionary in the human experience. So when it's transforming or evolving into a butterfly, it breaks down from the former life that it lived, sheds away old data, old information, and it comes into a new formation, all right, of a completely different entity of expression, different way of being. And so when you start learning about your own unique financial individuality, you go through this transitionary process of learning a new way of financial education as it relates to what is unique to you, what is in your financial encoding, your financial DNA, your financial anatomy. And that is what you start to study and learn yourself in that way. And then your economics and financial success templates and models birth from that versus you being told that this is what financial success is, and here are the structures that you are going to have to participate in order to survive in this world. Now, let me say this, as your metamorphosis is taking place, what will happen is that it's not that you won't use any of the current systems, it's that they've sort of been recoded and reordered for it to be more of a pure stream that's going to be aligned for you. So it's almost like operating off of a different trajectory of that experience, all right? Now, some of this may seem esoterical and metaphysical in a sense, but honestly, it's very practical, and it's a real thing. You have to be able to see the life that you're living through different lenses, and also your financial world through different lenses. That though there is a reality that is projecting, here's the future and here's the struggles in the now, you also have to understand simultaneously there is another, if you want to call it timeline, financial timeline in a sense, that is also underway. But because of the conditioning of the world, you can't tune into that and be able to sync up with that when you're under the distractions and kind of just the templates that have been given. And even people who have been very successful under the templates that have been given, they too are very distracted, which then keeps the momentum going of that particular confining structure as it relates to currency. So when you're stepping into your new your unique financial individuality, again, it's about being able to learn what is going to be unique for you. And then how do you actually apply some of the systems that are in place? How do they actually work for you under the new way of beingness, financial beingness, versus being caught up in the system that is breaking down, but as it's breaking down, it wants to get others locked into it. And it's interesting because the way that system works in a sense is that when you are actually locked into it, it would take a miracle to break out of it, because it's something not really of this world, and it is not something that is acting for the highest good of all. Yet a higher divine order is actually using it and leveraging it to be able to actually break down the old systems and bring people into something new. All right. So it's being leveraged, even though it is not really designed in a sense for people to be free and to have the financial freedom and livelihood that they're here to experience. So going back to being able to step into your unique individuality as it relates to finances, and then setting up just this new way of economics flow, all right, in the income flow for you. You want to have a new financial identity, because if you don't put yourself in the category with the traditional systems, that means you're not identifying, you're not really subscribing. You're not necessarily in judgment so much of it, but you know that that's not true for you, right? So anything that's not true for you isn't going to feel good at all, because it's not true, right? But the systems, if you're under hardship, especially during this time, it just means that the birthing of the new financial reality wants to come forth. But because you're unaware of how to bring it forth, then you are confined and really, in a sense, at the mercy of the systems and of the structures, okay? So how do you step into your unique financial individuality and start going in? So there's a process and a practice that I've been teaching for over a decade, and this applies to any area of life, and it is around intentional journaling from an evolutionary standpoint. And what that does is the intentional journaling, which is different than traditional journaling, it is very topical. It is very focused on a specific area. So in this case, if we were doing intentional journaling from an evolutionary standpoint, we would be doing it around finances and economics, all right? Now, within that experience, some other strategies could come in that have zero to do with finances, all right? But because you're in the process of it and the intention is around that, then you could be guided, to do something that's going to bring economic flow. But it may not be, okay, go and study finances in this area or start learning how to be a better steward with money. Those play a part, but the process isn't linear. So it may not just direct you to something of that magnitude or that nature, I should say. So something else I teach is wealth flexology and financial flexology and profits flexology. So I'm a certified reflexologist and acupressure certified as well. And if you know anything about reflexology, it's about being able to touch different points on the foot and the hands, and they stimulate well-being to other parts of the body, to your major organs. Now, if you're touching on the feet, you're not directly working on a specific area. Like if you were massaging someone and they said, my back is hurting, and then you actually work on that specific area on the back. The feet are different, right? They have the different points and also meridian points, and you work on specific areas. And so when you're working on those areas, it's stimulating well-beingness to another part of the body, to the part that you actually are wanting to work on, all right? So with financial flexology, profits flexology, wealth flexology, it's pretty much the same. So you could be intentional about financial well-being, but you may be guided to actually go and read a book about event planning, and you think, what does that have to do with finances? Well, it doesn't have to be a linear or logical process. You go and you read that, and by reading it, it may give you wisdom and insight around something else. And then later on, you can see, oh, okay, that actually helped lead to more expansive profitability in a certain way, right? Or you could be invited to have more recreation, that you need to engage life more, have some fun, stop thinking about the money aspect, and go off and enjoy yourself in a very uncommon or simplistic way, all right? And from that, because you've taken the attention off of the finances, it gives room for the finances to breathe and for some new life to come in, right? So this is very important to grasp this in next level comprehension and expanded awareness first, so that you can understand that the way that the new economy that's coming from within you works on a completely different system, all right? Works on a completely different system. And that's why there are no really one-size-fits-all currency frameworks and models, because you are here to have a customized currency template that can be ever evolving, all right? Keeps morphing into something different depending on your phase of life. This gets you out of being robotic and being in a system and being very much connected to you and having a relationship with your finances, right? And seeing yourself as the embodiment. You have a financial anatomy, so you need to study that financial anatomy. So going back to intentional journaling and being very topical and focused on the expansion and evolution of your economic system that's coming from within, you need to know yourself. You get to know yourself, you get to know your financial structure. And it's a new creation model, because again, this is about becoming something new. Going back to the metaphor or analogy as it relates to the caterpillar and the process of becoming a butterfly, is the breakdown of the old. Even if the caterpillar had a good caterpillar life, it was here for more. It's encoded to be more than what it was. And so it's had that journey. And now it's time to crack open that encoding. In your case, it's your new economics encoding, so to speak, to birth a financial world that is far beyond what you could have imagined. And when you start getting into that, you step into your unique individuality. And from there, you can start to develop and establish a new income structure for yourself, okay? That's an income way of being, all right? Your own new economy. So a simple process that I take others through is stepping into the space that is really a blank slate, all right? And it's where you come out of everything that you've known about success, about finances, about money, about wealth, profitability, you sort of suspend that knowingness for just a short period of time. It doesn't take long, sometimes just a couple of seconds, just to be outside of the knowingness of that life, so that you can get into a blank slate, a blank space. It's an open canvas, and then see that as being your new economics framework, your new financial identity, all right, and new financial individuality. Then it's blank, but you'll start to get a sense of something that's emerging. And then when we come out of this process, then you can start to integrate, in a sense, back into your current knowns. So I'm going to invite everyone to take a nice deep breath, please. All right. So again, I want you to simply imagine that you have stepped outside of everything that you've ever known about finances, about money, about economics, about wealth, profitability, being lucrative, high end, anything that you've known around the context, being rich or so. Step outside of everything you've ever known and just be in this blank slate space. It's a neutral space. And just imagine yourself being that space. You're a blank slate right now. All right. So take a deep breath, please. And so as you're in this space, what do you get a sense of? Some of you may feel absolutely nothing, and that's okay. But some of you may get a block of thought. Could be a word or a phrase or something. Or just a simple feeling. Could feel abundant, could feel a little bit more vibrant. Could feel like you're becoming aware of something, but not sure yet what. So just be in that space for a moment. And now some of you could be getting some information about your newer expansion, what this new financial identity entails for you, what it looks and feels like to step into your own financial individuality. So just be in the space and be that blank slate. Take a deep breath, please. All right. Now, whether something has come up for you or not, at this time, gonna imagine that you step back into what you have known around wealth and finances, right? So you're going to integrate yourself back into the reality, so to speak. All right, take a deep breath, please. Okay. All right. Okay. So again, whether you felt anything, got any insight or so, is not really that important. What's important is that you stepped outside of what you've known and allowed yourself to be in a new space, even if it is to just gain some momentum of being in something new and unaware of, this is new territory. So it's nothing to really figure out. It's just the fact that you have had a taste of that or an experience of that. Now that you're back into your current reality, so to speak, and the knowns, you'll start to see things differently and apply yourself differently as it relates to your financial world. And you may not be able to explain how this all works, and that's okay. It's just the fact, again, that you've had exposure outside of the known into that blank space. That's where your new financial individuality and identity can be established, okay? because now it's been incorporated and it can start to decode, to recode your revenue world anew. And that goes back to the importance of the intentional journaling piece from an evolutionary standpoint, is because you will be able to track your journey, the old and the new, and then be able to separate the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. All right. And be able to establish this new way of beingness so that you don't fall into that one world currency framework, right? If you can get out ahead and go ahead and start identifying yourself anew and being in your individuality and your unique customized template coming from within you, then you can recode your reality and be raptured, in a sense, from the trajectory that's trying to be the dominant trajectory of wanting to have control through currency, right? So again, you'll be able to leverage certain systems a certain way. It's just that it's going to be recoded differently for you to be able to participate. Whereas if you're just going through the traditional way of doing things, then you fall into that hard set fixed framework trap, and you don't want to do that, all right? Because there's options where you don't have to, even though we're taught, even religiously, in a sense, no, this is a fixed future and it's going down like this, and it's just a matter of time before everything, you know, goes this way. Well, no, there's an option. The future is really not formed. But what's happening is that because people have subscribed to different systems and trajectories, yes, it is building that momentum so that that is a fixed frame and it is a fixed future, but it doesn't have to be for everyone. That's what the rapture, if you will, is about, in terms of being able to be ascended from the different things that are part of the older framework, all right? And you're coming into the newer awareness, but you have to become anew before your world can become anew. And if you want your financial world to become anew, even if you're thriving now, you don't want to find yourself under that fixed framework. So you have to become anew in your finances and start to educate yourself according to your uniqueness, as I mentioned, and being able to reset your financial world anew from your unique information, okay? Customized currency. And I do more extensive trainings, you know, on this, you know, particular topic. So I wanted to come forth to be able to provide this because it's really important. And I do have other trainings, and you can find that information below with other trainings and other resources, because it's important that you start to step into this new framework. You start to build yourself up anew in your financial individuality. And again, you'll be avoiding any type of mark of the beast, you know, economic fallout, one world order currency type of trap, right? So it's very important that you start taking action now. This isn't fear-based, you know, it's futuring and forward momentum in terms of doing what you have to do in the now, so that you are in a profitability prevention stage of not having to experience something that you simply don't have to experience. So again, I have resources that you can be able to start that process, especially with the intentional journaling, but also other digital products that you can educate yourself on for this particular area. So I hope that this has been beneficial, just as a mini masterclass and info training to just inform you and to start empowering you to move into this new way of being as yourself. You are a unique individual and you have a unique blueprint, but only you can live out the life that you're here to live out. And you don't need any system trying to confine you and make you conform to its way. Again, if you're under some hardship now, just know that it's just the pressure on the coal that's producing the diamond. but you have to become a new creation and be able to see your financial world differently. But first, knowing that you have become anew. It's time to soar and be the butterfly in your finances, but ultimately be an eagle in your economics. So I'm going to close out, just wishing you all the best. Reach out, of course, if you need more assistance in this area. If not myself, I do have others who are part of my team and network that can be able to help facilitate the newer way of expansion moving forward. All right. Wishing you all the best. Take care and stay blessed.